Hey guys, Connor and I are in East Texas right now, and we're in Winnie, eating an amazing watermelon.
Amazing.
And we've been doing a lot of work on Winnie in the last few months, and so I want to get you caught up on what we've done. I really love having an RV, it's pretty amazing. But I have to say, like, doing all of the repairs and all the work on her alone isn't really my ideal. I loved last summer working on her with my family, and I've really been enjoying working on her together lately, and Connor's done so much of the work. So let's talk about what we've done and how we've made it really fun. A lot of the stuff that you've been doing lately, that we've been doing, is the finish work inside.
Yeah, we've been doing the quarter round along the from where the walls meet the ceiling, just kind of buttoning things up. We did some of this nice trim. Brittany will show you in some of the stock footage, just covering up where the thin sheets of plywood were connected and there was kind of a seam there. So rather than caulking it and having the vehicle be moving and breaking the caulk apart, we decided to cut some additional really thin strips of plywood, about an 1/8 inch thick plywood, paint them the same color as the walls, throw them up on the walls, and I think it looks amazing. Another big one was the window trim, which we had to do the window trim because we had to put the Velcro up because we really needed these curtains.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of funny how one thing leads to the next to the next.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that the reason we had to redo so much of the walls is because when I got Winnie, she had horrible water damage. It's one of the reasons I got such a great deal on her, which, like I keep saying, is actually awesome because I was going to gut her anyway and reinforce the roof anyway. But because of that, I tore down so much of the walls that I had to put up like masonite over everything, and just where the sheets connected, there's seams.
More finish work. We did some painting. We caulked up a little bit. Like, if I can recommend not using too much caulk in a moving home, because it's everything stretches and moves, and caulk can stretch a little bit, but it's limited. And so some of the caulking that had been done kind of split. So just finding ways to eliminate big gaps and using as little caulking as possible.
And we put another coat of paint on the ceiling. It looks a lot better.
Right.
Also, Connor did finished where the threshold is, where you step in from the step up onto the bamboo floor.
And that was super simple. Like, you could spend a lot of money on a nicer piece of wood, but we got the piece of wood in a trash can. And
so we spent this super hot night in Winnie because the fan wasn't working, and what we found out was basically that the battery was
completely drained, and it wasn't charging, even though we had it plugged into the electric, which is the way that it was set up to charge, is when you plugged it into electric.
But most campers can charge both ways, either when they're plugged in, or they'll charge from your car battery when you're driving.
Right, your alternator when you're
alternator?
driving.
So close.
And then we did some voltage tests and figured out that there is a wire that we can simply connect and charge it to the alternator.
Another couple jobs that you've done on her, or on the actual truck, have been great. You fixed the tailpipe and reinforced that.
Starter, and when I was changing out the starter, I noticed that that some of the linkage was really rusty, so changed a couple of bolts for the linkage, which, like, you can do all this stuff on your own. You really can. A sawzall off the bolts, put it on. If you've never done this stuff before, you can do it.
Yeah, you just find a YouTube video,
exactly,
follow it. I really think it's accessible to most people,
and I think it's super self-empowering, and it feels so good.
I'm really grateful because Connor loves doing that stuff.
I love it.
And I love doing, like, helping with the finish work and, like, organizing things up and finding where we're gonna store stuff. And meanwhile, I really enjoyed doing little jobs, like I just found like a couple of little leaks in the roof, or not even leaks, but just places I could make it a little better. So I got up on the roof a couple times, did more coats of roof paint in those areas. We also found a little area in the front that was leaking, and so I sealed up that with some more what's that called? Silicone.
So I would much rather work on the motor or do like the bigger jobs, construction wise, and have Brittany do like the organizing and these kinds of things. So it's just a really awesome way to share our skill sets, and also, like, to remain in a really joyous place as we're doing it.
Yeah, both get a lot out of it.
Yeah, I get a lot out of doing, like, the starter was such a good feeling. Finding the linkage was such a good feeling to be like, oh, I can, you know, really help this vehicle out and
Yeah.
give her some love.
Another thing is that while we were doing this, we never really felt any urgency around, like, this needs to get done today.
Great point.
And we would work on Winnie for a couple days in a row sometimes, and then we would just, like, not work on her for a while.
Yeah, for like a week or 2 weeks, week and a half.
Just kind of picked it up when it sounded fun, kind of did things here and there sometimes. I like that no urgency, and same thing on this trip as we're driving.
Yeah.
It feels like
Whatever, you know, we're on Winnie time and we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
And I like that, you know, we did have a trip in mind, which was motivating to get all this stuff done. And there was no question to me that we would not get it done. We just didn't have any urgency or any stress about it.
we're going up to the Northeast to visit family and friends, and also to go to the Woodstock Fruit Festival. And my dad is an amazing mechanic and carpenter and handyman and everything. So we have a bunch of jobs that we've called him about,
Yeah.
and also some that we want to get his advice on and just his help with. He also has a camper just like this, so we're excited
So
to
cool.
work on them kind of side by side. Stop at H-E-B and Sprouts, which are supermarkets around here with amazing deals. We got
Oh
like
my God.
20 cantaloupes. They're 50 cents each, 50 cents.
$10 for 20 cantaloupes.
This giant watermelon for like $6.
This is like a third of the size of the watermelon.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
watermelon is huge.
We got a bunch of 50-cent avocados. Got a bunch of bananas. We got some peaches.
We got some cukes. We got
Some
some
greens.
lettuce.
We got a cheap ice box because our fridge still, you know, we still need to do some tests on the fridge.
Yeah, it's worked, and it works when it's hooked up to electric. It's worked in the past running off of the propane, but it looks like the propane probably needs more.
Propane's probably
More
down, and we
juice.
probably need to change
Probably
the
need
tank.
a new pilot light too.
So none of that stuff's a big deal, but we didn't have the time to do it, so we just grabbed one of those cheap styrofoam coolers, filled it with ice.
Yeah. And now we're just jazzed to take our time on the road.
Yeah.
The most exciting thing happened yesterday, which was that we tried out my new hotspot on my phone.
Oh my God.
And it worked, even in the middle of nowhere. A little shoddy in the middle of nowhere, but
It's amazing.
it's amazing. And so I was able to work on my computer while Connor drove. And I think we'll go back and forth doing some of that. We're also going to make some stops just to play.
Just to play, we're gonna
And
make
eat
some
and work.
videos, hang out.
We're just going to take our time and have like
We've got
regular
plenty of time.
everyday life as we take this trip and drive on the road.
Yeah. Cool.
Yay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for your help on the renovations
I've been
and
loving it.
everything. We'll keep you guys updated.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.